Everyone, and welcome to First Things First. It's a Monday morning. I'm Jenna Wolf. That is the Hall of Famer Cris Carter. That is Nick Wright. Good weekend, CC.
Great weekend.
Yeah.
How was you guys' weekend?
We were good, but we weren't at the Sixers game Friday night. We didn't jet all over the place and then make it back in time for our show. That wasn't the weekend we had.
just an international man of mystery, man.
No.
Jimmy Butler giving you his shoes.
Oh, Jimmy Butler, that's my guy.
Talk
to Ben Simmons' family, that's my new guy.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I'm just curious if the people in Minnesota are a little upset with you. You embrace Jimmy right after he gives them the stiff arm.
Yeah, the people, come on, man. I've done so much there. I'm beyond all that.
Okay.
Let's get it.
Let's get it. We got a big show for you today. Big Ben led a huge comeback. Saints might be the team to beat in the NFL, but we're going to start with the Dallas Cowboys. Dak Prescott and the boys trying to make it 2 wins in a row for the first time all season. This was a slow game till the 4th. Zeke giving Dallas a 19-9 lead with a 23-yard touchdown run. But the Falcons would come all the way back, evening it up with a 34-yard touchdown pass from Matty Ryan to Julio Jones, just under 2 minutes to play. All right, 44 ticks left. Dak Prescott looking to get something going here. And he finds Cole Beasley, gets it down to the Falcons' 30. That would set up a 42-yard field goal for Brett Maher, who nails it. Cowboys win. They're now 5-5. That made Jerry a very happy man. Here is Dak Prescott after the win.
Our backs are against the wall, and they're still against the wall. And just the fact this shows the character of this team, of us swinging and fighting and coming out, and the ups and downs in this game, adversity, success, the way we just played through it and stayed together as a team and able to go down there and make that game win a field goal. I mean, credit Brett. Missed one earlier in the game, and to come back, that shows the character right there, just within him, and then to make that game win a field goal when it mattered was huge.
All right, Nick, so how do we see this Dallas team now? Suddenly, this is a team that's winning in a winnable division. Are we starting to see the Cowboys as a playoff team?
I think you have no choice. You have no choice given what they've done the last 2 weeks. 2 weeks ago, we were in a position where Washington was 6-2 with a healthy quarterback, a healthier offensive line, and the Cowboys hadn't won a game on the road. Since then, the Cowboys won at Philadelphia, had what I thought was their best defensive performance of the season yesterday, given who their opponent was against the Falcons, and they followed the script. There is a benefit, C, to talking about the Cowboys as often as we do, which is we got this team down. What is the script for Dallas? Dak play a clean game, give the ball to Zeke 25-plus times, and trust the defense to be something that people don't want to acknowledge it as, which is one of the absolute elite front sevens in all of football. And then, in the critical moments, if you have to, ask Dak to make 2 or 3 plays. And yesterday, it was check, check, check. And while they were playing, unfortunately and really, I mean, sports-wise, tragically, Alex Smith got his leg snapped. And now all of a sudden, the Eagles look cooked. We found that out later in the day.
Giants already are cooked.
The Giants been cooked since week 1. And Washington is about to start Colt McCoy on a Thursday night in Dallas. So everything that could have gone right for Dallas the last 2 weeks has. So you have to look at them as a playoff team.
And they're one of the few teams from an old school standpoint, as far as moving forward, if they understand who they are, they can do it. They can play old school. They can play defense. Their defense, as we said, the preseason coming into the season, we thought that would be probably the most underrated part of the team. They've lived up to that. And now, from an offensive standpoint, Dak, throw the ball less than 30 times. Zeke touched the ball at least 20 to 25 times. Our biggest problem was, Jenna, through the first 8 games, they didn't know this. So it wasn't like all of a sudden now we're getting all this new information. The Cowboys all along should be a playoff team. When you look at the kind of talent that they have, even though they're still very, very young, they should be a playoff team. But when you can't win on the road, and then also what happened to Washington over the last couple weeks, they're one of the teams that we thought, man, there's going to be a team to catch fire in November and December and finally galvanize their season. Who are going to be those teams. Dallas Cowboys are leading the pack, and also you have to keep an eye on what's going on in that division. So they had the opportunity to be able to recover. Other teams in other divisions that don't have the same problems at the top, they won't be able to recover, but it seems like the Cowboys are going to be able to do that.
So, Nick, if they are going to make the playoffs, what's more important? Because we know what Zeke's going to do. Is it Dak playing well, or is it that defense playing well? Which is going to have to be the more sureable thing?
The defense. Listen, the Cowboys lead the league in games allowing 20 points or fewer. 7 times this year, they've held their opponent to 20 points or fewer in the highest scoring year in league history. Like, the defense has to be great throughout. You said we know what Zeke's going to do. We know what Zeke needs to do. Like, there is no better indicator on if the Cowboys win or lose than Zeke's stat line. Just look at it. Wins, losses, Zeke Elliott, we can show you the splits. In wins, he's given you over 121 on the ground. There it is. 121 on the ground and 44 catching. Those are in wins. In losses, less than 70 on the ground, and half of that receiving. Like, when he's great, they win. When he's average, they don't. And for those, so I agree with you. We know what Zeke needs to do. And if he looks like he did the last 2 weeks, I think the defense is going to be consistent.
But does he look like that if they're giving him the touches and the carries? Because in the beginning, they just weren't, and those weren't his numbers.
No, Zeke he's proven himself when he's in the lineup, and when they give him the ball, there is no theory behind. They just didn't make enough first downs. They played bad offensive football, didn't get productivity outside, and when they needed Dak to be clutch, he couldn't be clutch. So they weren't a good offense. Zeke was the best part of that offense, and we know that they had a number of changes that they were going through on the offensive line. The most significant thing for me is not only changing the attitude, Scott Lanahan, and what they're calling offensively, it has been the offensive line. When they changed offensive line coaches, appointed Mark Colombo, the former Cowboy offensive lineman, you can see that they're starting to double team more, use their size, and you could see they were getting Zeke into the secondary quite often. And that's what you have to be able to do with the Cowboys. That's what we saw in Philadelphia last week on the road, and that's what we saw yesterday in Atlanta. Zeke getting into that secondary, and you can see he's a special runner when he gets in open space.
And I want to give Cris credit for seeing something before it happened that I wouldn't have seen and I didn't see coming, which is what the addition of Amari Cooper does for the Cowboys' rushing attack. What just the threat, even if he hasn't been productive since his second year in the league, and even if he's yet to have a huge game with Dallas, you are seeing that teams cannot just say, we're going to put 8 in the box, 90% of the plays, and dare you to throw it. They have enough respect for what he can do and what he has done at some point in his career that Zeke is having easier running lanes, and he has to make one guy miss instead of 2 guys miss.
And he makes it easier for the others. He makes it Michael Gallup. For him to be a number 2, a young guy, 3rd-round pick, a lot of speed. You can see late in the game, Amari didn't make the play, but he got the coverage. Gallup was able to run the deep comeback on the outside. That was one thing we didn't see from Dallas, and also from Dak, throwing the ball deep and outside late in the game. We've seen Cole Beasley. He runs the choice route to be able to seal the game, to get him in game-winning field goal range because of the coverage on Amari. So his overall effect to allow this offense to thrive, you can see it when you watch the tape.
But wasn't the addition of Amari Cooper, yes, to help free up Zeke a little bit, but also to see